Clean air, water, and livable climate are absolute human rights, and these subject matters are not for debate or politics. Welcome to the Greenpreneurs. My name is Christopher Nwaubu. Today on the show, we're setting the tone with circular economy, and trust me when I say I have the industry leaders in Nigeria to set the tone for the conversation. In the last couple of months, you might want to agree with me that the world climate has echoed more than it did in the last 3 to 5 years. And this is because of the kind of conversations we're beginning to have, especially in Africa, where the world thinks is the most safe as we speak. Today on the show, we have with me the very first guest from my immediate left, Deborah Edwards from Circular Economy Innovation Partnership. Please welcome her. And on my far right, I have a noble gentleman. He is from Tetra Pak, West Africa. Please welcome Clement Sunday. Gentlemen and ladies, it's a pleasure to have you on the Greenpreneurs.
Pleasure to be here.
I would like to start this conversation differently, other than what we're going to be discussing, which is circular economy. The season we find ourselves is actually hinged around the World Environment Day, but for people like us, we see it as World Environment Month. Activities are spanning from different organizations that we've seen, different platforms. It is popularly said, ladies first. So let's start from Deborah. When you hear the World Environment Day, what comes to mind?
So for me, World Environment Day takes me to a place where I think about the earth. And to me, the earth exists with all of us in it. So it means that everyone has a role to play in safeguarding and keeping the earth. So it's important that we actually commemorate this day. But taking it further, when I say everyone, I'm talking about children. Thankfully, we have a number of students in the house with us today. I'm talking about their parents. I'm talking about people who work in the private sector, the public sector. Every single person is involved in talks or actions involving the planet, because every small step or action that you take matters. Awesome. Technically, to me, the environment revolves around people.
Great start. Clement, let's look at it from a different perspective, because you represent a brand, and of course, you don't just sit there, you're doing your services for this organization from a continental level, working with a global brand. So for Tetra Pak, West Africa, what does World Environment Day, how does it resonate with your brand?
I mean, the World Environment is a very important part of our corporate strategy. So actually, sustainability is a big part of our corporate strategy. And it's the foundation of everything that we do. From when it comes to design, development, in terms of new product and all the innovation. So sustainability is a very important and vital part. And why is this important? Because for us, it's the motto that we work with is we protect what is good. We protect people, we protect the planet, and we protect food as well. So when you talk about World Environment Day, it's all encompassing. It's about the future. How, for me, one of the key things that pop up is the future. How do we secure our future? How do you secure the future of food in Nigeria, for example? How do you secure to ensure that you have the right food system in place to cater for the growing population? It's also, what comes to mind is about waste management. What are we doing? What are the actions that we are taking today to get impact on climate change?
Great.
And it's a whole lot of things.
Okay.
The most important part is that it's not just talk. We have to walk the talk when it comes to environment. So hopefully today we are going to be sharing with you all of the actions and the big things.
Great. The way you've established it, it seems like we will need a whole day for it. But never mind. Let's get into today's subject matter, which is actually hinged on circular economy. For you, I'll take it then, Deborah can pick up from there. How does circular economy differ from the traditional linear economy that we know, especially in Africa, where we're still trying to grasp and adopt circular economy?
Yeah, so the circular economy, it's a transformative model. Pretty much, if you go back, what we have, what we used to have, because we are transiting from the linear model now to circular economy model, it's the model where you take product from the earth, you turn it into product, and then it goes into the waste and into the landfill.
Great.
That's pretty much your linear concept. But that's not where we want to be, because all of these things have impact on the environment. We are transiting to the circular economy, meaning that we are giving life, a second life to all those products. So you take the product from the earth, you turn it into valuable product, and then the product is being consumed by the consumer, and it's being recycled and turned into new product. For example, I'll give you a good example. Today we are lucky. Today we have kids in the studio, and I'm always excited when I see kids, because they are the future, and I'm happy that they are here to listen and to learn about sustainability, because these are next generation recycling champions.
Great.
So if you take your popular beverage product that you drink, so you have your popular brands like the Hollandia, like the Chivita. These products are called beverage cartons, right? Beverage cartons, they are made mainly from paperboards, from renewable materials. So the average carton that you see has about 70 to 75% paperboard, which means that the renewable content is very high, and they are recyclable.
Wow.
So and that's the key message that we want to pass on, that this used beverage carton, so when you finish drinking your Chivita, your Hollandia, this product can be turned into valuable product.
Good.
And we are doing it here in Nigeria. It's not enough.
That is where I would like to do a switch now, because you just hit some critical point there. But Deborah, let's come to you and look at the circular economy model and what your organization, Circular Economy Innovation Partnership, is doing. How has the advocacy and the engagement, enculturation into this transition been for your organization?
That's quite an interesting question. So at the Circular Economy Innovation Partnership, we like to call ourselves the ecosystem leaders. It means that in the transition, which I've already established, and you probably hear me say a lot of today, everyone is involved. We typically like to act as middlemen. So we tend to establish a relationship between the government and the secular businesses. Secular businesses are businesses that they typically use waste as one of the core input materials. So they often start off with waste and then combine with a lot of other resources. Now, what that means is that after they've been able to do that, they need to get these things out there to the public for them to hear or to begin to use those products. So we tend to advocate to say that, okay, these products do exist. You can pick one up, you can use it, you can reuse it, as Mr. Clement has said. Reusing culture is very important, giving it second life. You can use it, you can recycle it, and oftentimes you can even send it back to the producer who has a plan in mind for those particular products.
Thank you very much.
And advocating for that has been a very interesting journey for us, because it has helped us. We have had to collaborate with different industries and different people in different spaces to pass this message across, and it's something we
Awesome. I'd like to listen to you when it comes to the principles of circular economy, but that will be when we return. We'll take our very first commercial break now. When we come back, the Greenpreneurs continues.
On a world gripping with plastic pollution, a recent United Nations report highlights Nigeria's waste management crisis. With over 32 million tons of waste generated annually, 2.5 million metric tons come from plastic alone. These alarming statistics positions Nigeria among the top 20 contributors to the 83% of land-based plastic waste polluting our oceans. In Abuja, an innovative solution is emerging: EcoBatter, a green tech company that has deployed 25 reverse vending machines across schools, supermarkets, and religious centers in the city's metropolis. These machines encourage individuals to recycle by offering cash rewards through our mobile app. However, the initiative still faces challenges in inclusivity. EcoBatter is more than a recycling platform. It's tokenized waste, turning it into a high-value customer product, and collaborates with local women and youth as production partners. Together, They transform hard-to-recycle plastic into fabrics for bags, shoes, and clothing, empowering undeserved communities to earn sustainable incomes. With initiatives like this, EcoBatter is paving the way for equitable, technology-driven waste management solutions in Nigeria while supporting economic empowerment and sustainability. Could EcoBatter's approach become the blueprint for waste management across Africa? Share your thoughts with us on social media.
Welcome back to the Greenpreneurs. Interestingly, we're having this conversation for circular economy with two wonderful individuals. They actually set the tone from World Environment Day, and now we're sitting down into the main subject matter. With us in the studio is the Marketing and Packaging Portfolio Director at Tetra Pak West Africa, Sunday Clement, and Deborah Edwards. She is the head for communication, strategic communications, I must say, and partnership at the Circular Economy Innovation Partnership. Sir and madam, it's a pleasure indeed to have you in the studio again. Wonderful startup. Deborah, let's pick it up from you now and get to know what are the principles of circular economy and how does this really affect the growth of a country?
Okay, so I'd like to say the first principle is waste reduction. So when we talked about circular economy, we said something very important, that circular economy is all about designing out waste. So it means that a core principle is waste reduction. And how do you do this? You do this by thinking carefully about how you design a product. So let me give you an example that I like to use. There's a product called Coconut Jam Jam. It's very interesting.
Coconut Jam Jam.
I'm telling you, it's actually a very nice snack. And you know how we all love snacks. Now, this particular company created their product from coconut. And what they did was they took a coconut in its full glory and said, what can I use this for? They said, okay, I'm going to take the husk and I'm going to collaborate with a different business who uses this husk as a fire starter. So instead of you to use your charcoal that you would use or your firewood, you could use the husk for the coconut when it's dry to start your fire. Then they went further to say, oh, the shells are quite interesting. What can we use it for? So they collaborated with someone who was a fashion designer to say, how can we make buttons? So the buttons on your uniforms, the buttons on your shirts, how can we make them out of coconut shell? This is an organic material. And what they did was they took it to that person. That person came up with buttons from it. It's another very interesting.
Wow.
They now said, no, we're not done. We like beauty. We like lifestyle. We have the coconut itself. What can we use it for? So they took the coconut, shredded it, used it to make coconut flakes. How many of us have had coconut flakes before? It's quite nice, right? They made coconut flakes. They extracted the oil, made coconut oil. We use this to rub our bodies, look good, our hair, natural hair people. We love it for our hair. And then they went further to use it to make a kind of chin-chin, but then made from coconut with flour and other additives. Now, at the end of the day, technically, what do you have left? Nothing.
Wow.
So through this whole circle, they were able to eliminate waste. And that is technically what we will call an ideal circular product.
Thank you very much.
Because from start to finish, they had thought about how they can use all the materials. And bear in mind, they didn't say, oh, we must be the one to create the fire starter. They didn't say, oh, we must be the one to make the oil, technically. What they did was they began to collaborate with other businesses to say, this thing is an offcut from what I create. What can you use it for? Use it for your products. So technically, that's a core principle of circular economy, designing out waste or waste reduction. This is just for the food sector, but all other sectors have something they can benefit from circular economy.
Fantastic. That was a very, you just schooled me on a few things I never knew before now, and I want to believe that our esteemed audience across the world, you're taking the same lesson from this. Let's come to Clem and find out the role of consumer behavior in driving the transition to a circular economy.
No, I think consumer they play a very important role across the entire value chain. So just to link back to what Deborah was saying earlier on. So it's important because circular economy is a journey, right? And so let's start from the source. So if you take, for example, your used beverage carton, you know, the popular fruit juice, the popular drinking yogurt and evaporated milk that you have in beverage carton. How do we get this material? This material made mainly from paperboard, right? So you get them from responsibly sourced forests, you know. So if you look at the bottom of all the Tetra Pak packages that we have in Nigeria, you see they all have the Forest Stewardship Council logo
on it.
So what
Okay.
it means is that it's from a verifiable and well-managed forest, you know. So from the sourcing all the way, because you have to take a value chain approach when it comes to sustainability and when it comes to circular economy. You know, and even in the designing of the packaging material, you impute element of recyclability even from the designing stage. And we're doing that, increasing the paper content that we have. Today, it's roughly 70 to 75% paper.
Wow, that's a milestone.
And the ambition is to, we're getting up to 90% paper content. By 2030, we'll be at 90%. So we are increasing the renewable content of our product. And bring it down home to Nigeria. In Nigeria here, we are working closely with our partners. And one of our biggest partner here is the Chivita Hollandia. They are in the whole of sub-Saharan Africa. They are the biggest when it comes to beverage carton. So we are together working to ensure that first we educate consumer, that we raise the awareness level. Consumers in Nigeria today, a lot of them do not know that used beverage carton is not waste. It can be transformed to valuable product. We need to put this word out there, and we need partnership. We cannot do it alone. We are working with the big partners that are and other key stakeholders across the value chain.
Okay.
So your Hollandia, your Chivita brand that you buy, they are recyclable, and we have facilities in Nigeria that can help us to do all of that. So today we are currently doing low-scale recycling with a recycler here in Nigeria. We're recycling single digit of all the used beverage carton, but now we are forming stronger partnership together with Chivita Hollandia and other big players. We now have, and we're going to make this announcement pretty soon. There's going to be a big announcement coming up pretty soon. We now have a capacity with the new partners coming on board. We will have capacity to recycle all the used beverage carton that we put outside. And we're talking 11,000 tons.
This is
fantastic. All the used beverage, we will have capacity to recycle all of them with this new partnership that we are going to make announcement.
I think at the Green Planner we have a lot of job to do. So if you're watching us from home, picking from what Clement just said now, your used cartons, don't just dispose irresponsibly. Start stocking them. Somebody is coming to pick it up, and the person is going to be giving you what they call in local parlance in Nigeria, pakam in your account. You're going to be paid for actually keeping that and doing it responsibly. Thank you very much. So let's come to you, Deborah, just for want of time. We're actually driving to the close of this. How can collaboration across sectors and industries accelerate this transition we're talking about?
Okay. I think that's a very interesting question. He rightly said something. His company is sort of the producer. And then to actually do more than just producing, to get to the target audience, to get to the people at home, they have to work in a partnership. So they have to partner with recycling bodies, they have to help set up facilities and so on. That is what makes a circular economy. Because when you look at circular economy, we're talking about a circle. We're talking about closing the loop. And nobody can actually work on any of these parts alone. You can't work in isolation. So for the government, we will typically tell the government, we need you to create policies, regulations, and still monitor that these are actually very effective, so that the businesses that are creating products and services can work well, can produce more. For the people at home, how do we work with them? We tell them, okay, when you want to choose a product, look at it very well and ask yourself, first of all, do I really need this product? Is it something that I can do away with? This doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, you just throw everything and say, I'm not buying anything again. No, you ask yourself from a sustainability standpoint, do I really need it? Is it really important? If it is important, then you go ask yourself the next question. Can I use this for as long as possible? So that you do not participate in something called just fast buying, impulse buying. When you are buying things or you are spending money without really thinking long term. So that's how we can work with, the consumers on that end. Then we have the academic bodies. One of the things that we like to do is to encourage a kind of relationship, a synergetic relationship between the academic body, the businesses, and the government. Why? Because we go to school, we learn about things.
Research is being done there.
Exactly, the research that is being done there, the knowledge that is gotten. We don't want it to be just project binders and books that you never go back to. So how can we begin to look at research from the standpoint of how does it apply to business in real life? Not just something that will sit on the shelf for maybe 5 to 10 years. And then we have industry regulators. These are organizations, I'm sure you hear from a couple of them soon, that monitor and ensure that both the business is doing right by people and of course the government is doing right by people.
Thank you.
All these different bodies have a role to play for it to be successful.
Great.
Nobody can be left out of the chain. There's something someone used to say to me: you are only as strong as your weakest link. I'll take that again. You are only as strong as your weakest link. So what is the weakest link that we have? That is actually the true might of our strength.
Okay.
That means that we need to collaborate to ensure that we do not have any weak link.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, we'll see how we can actually take this conversation further. This is just what angle we're looking at. We hope to have this more. But before we go to our wonderful students now to take a question, we'll just take our second commercial break, and coming back will be the time for us to close. You're still watching The Greenpreneur.
Nigeria's population is booming, projected to surpass the United States by 2050. This rapid growth brings an urgent need for sustainable productivity, and the circular economy offers a solution. The Circle Hub Nigeria, launched by the Circular Business Platform, equips entrepreneurs with tools to transform to circular practices. By focusing on capacity building and innovation, it encourages sustainable business models that address key sectors like agriculture, waste management, and energy. Aligned with Nigeria's Circular Economy Roadmap, introduced in 2024, initiatives like the Lagos Circular Economy Strategy Week are forging partnerships between government, businesses, and non-governmental organizations to create lasting impact.
Good everyone, my name is Miss Faith Kemade Sawyer. I am from Youngster Nursery and Primary School. I am in Primary 4. The question I want to ask is, what are some fun ways we can reuse some things we might normally throw away?
Okay, thank you very much, my dear. And now we'll do a switch and take the second question so that our esteemed guest in the studio can actually respond. The Forum International, do we have a question from you?
Good day, everyone. My name is Oyemashi Anna. I am a student of the Florence Private International School. My question is, why is it important to use things again instead of throwing them away?
Interesting questions from the Forum and of course Youngstar School. But I'll just turn to the two guests I have. So who even does what for me? No, Clem, you look like you watch a lot of cartoons while you're young. So you pick up the question around fun ways of recycling. Why Deborah here will tell us, why do I even put all my recyclables at home and wait for someone to come and pick it instead of throwing them away? Let's go.
Oh, so let's start with the fun part, okay? So this is an interesting question. So a couple of years ago, we had this cool activation program where we went to school to educate kids about recycling, used beverage carton recycling. And you know, it's made mainly from paperboard. So we're talking 70–75% paperboard. So if you put it in a pulper, like your blending machine, you can get the pulp out.
Okay.
And kids can be creative with the pulp, and they can make a whole lot of things from the paper pulp that comes. And this is something that can actually be done at home, of course, under supervision. I mean, depending on the age of the kids.
Great.
But it's fun when they come together and do this recycling exercise together with your kitchen blender and turn this pulp into fun items.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things
To be done. Thank you very much. Deborah, let's take yours quickly.
Okay, so she asked, why do we need to ensure that we recycle stuff instead
Other
of
than
just
throwing them
it
away?
I'll give you several reasons. I mean, I think it rained technically nearly everywhere.
Yeah, in the last 48 hours, right?
Yes, and you know, one of the things you would see is, you would see that the gutters are always full, and there's always water, oftentimes spilling into the
road. Yes.
And then you see sometimes some pieces of nylons and paper and slippers and plates, you know, always pulled out and maybe beside it. that is an evidence that somebody did not keep or trash his trash properly, right? So when you're going out and you throw something into the gutter, you just throw it out the window, it's very innocent. You don't mean anything by it. But the build-up oftentimes causes what? What you see. Blocked drainage, which in turn causes flooding, which in turn affects homes that are built in those type of areas. And we've heard issues of houses, falling down. That's extreme, falling down or collapsing because of the flooding. That's on one end. Then what about your health? Would you like to stay in a dirty environment? I don't think anyone will, because that exposes you to different kind of sicknesses or illnesses. Over time, you even have itching skin and so on. And then, yes, people will laugh at you when you begin to have all those things. So those are like simple reasons why it's important that you trash your trash properly. And we've already talked about it, that sometimes what you think is trash is not trash. It's somebody else's treasure. I'm sure that you heard when Mr. Clement said something around, Mr. Clement and Mr. Chris said something around receiving a kpakam in your account when you are able to keep your recyclables or your trash in a way that someone can come and pick it up. Those are new ways where trash becomes wealth for you. So these are just reasons why you should, because of your health, first of all, because of the environment. Thankfully, it's World Environment Day. And because, of course, you can do right by yourself, by your family, and by the environment.
Thank you very much indeed. Please, can we celebrate our guests in the house? Please, a round of applause. I wish I have more time to do this, but I thought we have to run now. I just want to say to our esteemed viewers across the world watching us that this is just the beginning of something revolutionary, and we're getting the young people involved in the entire process to understand that climate issues, there is a human factor in it, and we can get these things done. Thank you. So this is it now until we come your way again. My name is Christopher Nwagbo. It's bye for now.